I see Neptune.
Yeah, there's quite a lot packed into that image there.
Wow.
So we've got the zodiac. Oops, gotta watch it. I'm still in creation mode here. And this is the zodiac template that I'm recommending for the lightning path. It emphasizes the Sphinx's gaze, which we see in between the red lines. And it also brings in galactic center up at the top. So what I'm doing in my own research is keeping these particular parameters in mind. It's like who has planets within the Sphinx's gaze, for example. That makes for a very interesting research vector. Who's got planets up near the galactic center? You know, I mean, there's so many places you can go in the birth chart, but these are the two that I really keep in mind.
Mm.
And it's really been fascinating to see what comes out of that approach. So
So,
here we have the more conventional birth chart. This is what's you can conjure up on astroseek.com, which I highly recommend as a free astrology program or website.
Mhm.
But what I'm hoping will happen with our group is that we're all able to kind of bring our charts forward, maybe simultaneously at some point, and start comparing and exploring together. You know, what is it to have, for example, I only learned about some of the deeper realms of the charting when I finally realized that my Eros planet or asteroid Eros was at galactic center. So that really kind of woke me up to that connection.
mm.
And since then, there's been other really interesting um, findings to do with the asteroids. There's so many asteroids. I don't know, like there's thousands of asteroids now, but there are some major ones. And of course, Eros is one. And then the four asteroid goddesses, Juno, Vesta, Pallas Athena, and who else have we got? Who am I missing? Well, here we've got Psyche and Ceres. Yeah.
Mm.
So these add a lot of um, further dimension to the natal birth chart.
So the Sphinx's gaze, he's gazing out, not in.
Yeah. And let's go back if I can here. Yeah, imagine you're sitting in between the Sphinx's paws and
Hmm.
gazing east. That's his view. And
Okay.
to the left extremity, the left red line is at 28 degrees of Aries. That's the summer solstice position.
Okay.
Whereas early Pisces is the winter solstice position. So that's
Mm.
the extent of his gaze.
Mm.
And the fact that Neptune is right dead center in that gaze right now, that to me is, I mean, that's astrologically significant. And I think it helps us understand the world as it is. I mean, Neptune in Pisces, this is its natural home. And uh, it's playing big right now on the world stage. You know, all the just imagine, for example, how many people are out there now working with their computer to generate new images. I mean, it's just an absolute explosion of imagery that's coming forth. Well, this is the vision capacity of Neptune. Um, it's just phenomenal, and it's leading to confusion. There's deception at work. You know, there's all these different aspects that we generally ascribe to Neptune. It's playing out in a big way. And as we were talking earlier about Neptune at 0 Aries, comes up next March, end of March 2025. It moves from Pisces, where it's been for a number of years now, into Aries. And that it's like a trigger point. That's all I can say about that. And we're in the part of that zone right now where imagining is appropriate action. Envisioning is appropriate action. And as Steve was saying, once we hit first degree of Aries, that's like this jump into action. We got to act to bring these visions into manifestation. So from and so now for our group here, there's kind of a question in my mind: what are we to do at this time? What is Spirit calling us to bring forward? And that will unfold in its own way. But that's kind of where I'm focusing my attention these days. Let's put it that way. So the anaretic degree, this is a okay. I can't because of how I've got my screen. You guys are blocking the text, but how do I move it?
And that first line just disappeared.
Yeah. Can you see all of the text though?
Yeah, it starts with the anaretic degree in astrology refers to the final degree of any zodiac sign.
And I'm missing that first line.
Okay. Steve, would you mind reading the whole thing?
Okay.
Oh, that'd be great.
The anaretic degree in astrology refers to the final degree of any zodiac sign from 29 degree to 29 degree 59 minutes, often called the degree of fate or the critical degree. Planets at this position carry significant energy, symbolizing culmination or unresolved themes tied to that planet and its sign. This degree brings urgency and intensity, urging resolution before the planet shifts into the next sign. Currently, and until March 31st, 2025, Neptune is transiting the final degree of the zodiac. This indicates that, on a planetary scale, humanity is currently facing a rare time of heightened sensitivity, spiritual awakening, and the dissolution of illusions. Now is prime time for each of us to complete the necessary inner work needed before Neptune moves into Aries, a sign of action and new beginnings. How to adapt successfully to this time? Release illusions. Recognize and let go of false beliefs or escapism, especially in relationships, creativity, and spirituality. Introspect deeply. Use meditation, journaling, or spiritual practices to access and resolve subconscious patterns. Heal and let go. Focus on closure and forgiveness to release emotional wounds and confusion. Trust intuition. Follow intuitive insights for guidance and new directions. Embrace compassion. Practice empathy and acts of service, connecting with universal love and contributing to collective healing.
Thank you.
Beautiful.
So it just kind of opens things up for us to contemplate.
Mm-hmm.
And now the dark side, if you would, sir.
The dark side issues. Escapism and addiction. On the darker side, Neptune in Pisces can lead to an increase in escapist tendencies such as substance abuse, overindulgence in fantasy, example, excessive daydreaming, media consumption, or avoidance of responsibilities. Individuals should be mindful of where they are using these outlets to evade dealing with emotional or spiritual truths. Confusion and deception. This is also a time when illusions, lies, or deceit can easily cloud judgment. People may find themselves facing situations where clarity is difficult to achieve, either through their own misunderstanding or because of deception by others. Practicing discernment is crucial to avoid getting lost in the fog of uncertainty. Victim mentality. The energy of Neptune at 29 Pisces can amplify feelings of helplessness or victimhood. Individuals might be drawn into self-pity or blame, believing that they have no control over their circumstances. This mindset can keep them trapped in cycles of disempowerment rather than allowing for spiritual growth and resolution. Boundaries blurring. Neptune in Pisces dissolves boundaries, which can lead to issues with personal limits, especially in relationships. People may need to watch for enmeshment or losing themselves in others' needs, emotions, or problems. This is a good time to strengthen personal boundaries while remaining compassionate. Embracing the transition to Aries. With Neptune preparing to move into Aries, the focus shifts from the dreamy, introspective energy of Pisces to a more direct, action-oriented dynamic. To adapt, people can focus on the themes of closure, healing, and clarity now, so they are ready to step into the new energy of self-assertion, courage, and initiation that Neptune in Aries will bring.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you both.
And I think it's worth noting that, Steve, you have your sun at the 30th degree of Pisces.
Yes, I do.
And,
So why does all of this ring true?
yeah,
I can
right
feel it.
on.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, that media consumption. I can work on that one.
Mm.
Daydreaming, some of it's beneficial, but too much is not healthy. Because then we'll miss out on that action step, and it can just, as one is daydreaming, just lead to entropy, as we were talking about. Yeah, I feel I've learned about the victim, so I don't get trapped in that one.
Oh, good. Yeah, that's a big one.
Yeah. Um, Confusion and deception might be if there's the overwhelm of all the things, but I've gotten a lot more clarity on it's all, much of it is saying the same thing. And boundaries. Yeah, I've worked with that one in actually allowing myself to be who I am and others to be who they are.
Mm.
And I've shared that before where my fortune cookie was, for peace of mind, retire as general manager of the universe. So that's helped me with boundaries.
That's great. I don't recall
Good.
having heard that one. That's good.
Yeah. So that was the form of retirement that I took.
Right on.
Yeah, and I'm embracing the transition to Aries, which I can feel, that it's kind of already happening.
Yeah.
And I feel grateful that I have meditation as a spiritual practice.
I was going to say, you've got a basic practice in place.
I practiced that for 24 years. So it's
Wow.
something that I know it works.
Yeah.
So I'm so grateful that I have it. And I feel all this other is playtime and it's bonus material. And because I know that, those four noble truths tell us there's suffering, the cause of suffering, the way out of suffering, and the noble eightfold path is the way out of suffering. So it it's a beautiful guideline, and there again it goes back to practicing it and experiencing, and that's experiencing on the theme of the symbol is skate with it and experience it, and then it's embracing. So yeah, it's taking that into action, that practice, which includes the compassion, the service, being in service, and how can I bring that? And so for me, I'm feeling it's in the area of fun and joy and hummingbird, and take that out, whether it's to the children, possibly with the puppets, and yeah, there's I feel there's it's wide open to spread the joy and have fun.
Nice.
It's like things have become so serious, and I mean, there's things that people are going through, and that's I mean, I went through a heart attack,
That's right.
but
Wow.
in it, I needed to find the light there, and I think what I got out of it was kindness. I really found out about kindness
Mm.
in the hospital, and what, from the patients to the nurses, what they're enduring. So to spread a little kindness in there and a little fun in there was quite enriching.
Mm.
Um,
How long ago was that?
2021
Mm.
June,
Mm.
and yeah, it was like the longest meditation I've done in Vipassana is 20 days, and I was in the hospital for 20 days.
Oh.
So it was a different form of meditation.
Ah.
But I sat there. I even had one of the doctors come in once. He says, "You look like a Buddha sitting there." So what else do I have to do
Right on.
in this bed? And it was like I just focused in on the what they call the kalapas, or the little subatomic particles. And I focused on those to change, to bring me out of it. That's what I focused on. And here I am. So that's, yeah, it was quite a learning in many different directions there.
Mm-hmm.
And now I've had a second chance, and a lot of things that mattered before don't matter. It's, yeah, it's just being honest and open, and having fun and enjoying life. I mean, that's as best we can.
Tough job, but somebody's got to do it.
Yeah, that's right. And with that, I see you've got Sophia's shirt on.
She's with us.
Yeah.
Right on. And she says, push on, you've got more slides.
Yeah.
Thank you for that sharing. That was
Yes.
beautiful.
Yeah. She helped me get out of it, recover. That was her magic.
Mhm.
Beautiful.
Yeah. So on this overarching year, that's what I'm grateful for. The magic. Yeah. And I look forward to this.
Okay. Like I was saying, I'm paying attention to the Sphinx's gaze and who might show up there.
Mm-hmm.
These two showed up
Wow.
just recently. So we have Trudeau with Mars anaretic, Pisces, so the 30th degree of Pisces,
Mm-hmm.
and Trump with his Vesta at the same position. So
Oh.
when these two showed up together like this, I just couldn't resist pursuing the research, and that's what I have to share. So we start with Trudeau,
Yeah.
and there's his Mars sitting anaretic within the Sphinx's gaze. And so the anaretic degree really intensifies whatever factor it is that we're looking at. So Mars in its fullness, will be experienced specifically by Trudeau at this time in his life. Like this for this life, Mars is going to be very, very prominent. That's what the message is coming. And when we look at him, how he shows up in the media, what's going on in the House of Commons, I mean, you can see the warrior there trying to, keep his agenda on the top.
Mm-hmm.
And like everybody else, he's he's fallible, and he's got his delusions and his illusions, and so on to deal with. But he's definitely wired to be really acting in a way that, okay, as we see, uh, drive, motivation, and ambition to take action, assertiveness, confidence in expressing needs and opinions, courage, willingness to face challenges and confront fears, aggression, potential for anger or conflict in pursuing goals. Well, don't we see a lot of that these days? Energy, vitality, and stamina for physical or mental tasks. Passion, intense enthusiasm and emotional intensity. Independence, desire for autonomy and self-reliance. Competitiveness, need to win or excel. Impulsiveness, acting without forethought or deliberation. And sexuality, physical attraction and desire. So these are all themes that he's having to deal with very specifically in this lifetime. And and the lightning path has some advice for him, kind of. I guess we could call it advice.
Some possibilities.
Some possibilities, as suggested by a robot. And that's what I've done is I've gone into ChatGPT and asked it to interpret. And Steve, if you would be so kind once again, I can't move our faces out of the way here. So if you wouldn't mind reading, I'd appreciate that.
I think I got to get a drink of water first.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to plug in the heater by my feet. It's not by my feet. I need it by my feet.
Yeah, so in that Sphinx gaze, that goes out to the 29, about 29. I guess I'm on the cusp of it because I have my Mars at 29 degrees Aries.
So that, yeah,
So it's on the cusp of the gaze.
that's anoretic.
Yeah. Or the anaretic. And it's conjunct with my Venus. So I have Venus and Mars are together there.
Oh, right on.
Yeah. So, yeah, Mars in Aries, I can hear those ideas.
Yeah, that's going to stimulate you.
So the symbol is at the heart chakra. Is that in his particular chart or?
No.
This is just,
It was a visual, moment for me to put that there.
Yeah.
It just felt right.
and it also makes sense, but I wasn't sure if there was more to it. But
Right.
I mean, there is a lot to it, but
Yeah, but in general, I was going for essence, and yeah.
I've learned that. I was reading a bit up on AI and a woman who's worked with Google and read her article about that it's really it's a mirror. AI is just a mirror.
Mhm.
And it's what humans put into it, they'll get back. So, dear Prime Minister Trudeau, so somebody's writing him a letter.
Well,
In your
I just before you go I did one of these. I call them kind of a soul blessing, and I did one for Trump and other members of one of his teams there with Robert Kennedy Jr. and Vivek Ramaswamy and so on. And then I realized, well, I should do one for Trudeau. So that's what this came out of, was this notion of blessing these people who are in office, and let's have them know that there are choices to be made, and the inner work is really important, And so just kind of encouraging that.
Nice.
Those are on X, the ones that I send out.
So hopefully their staff reads it and passes it on, or
Yeah.
they come across it and go, I need some guidance.
And what kind of guidance do you have?
Yeah, you have Mars. Dear Prime Minister Trudeau, in your natal birth chart, Mars resides at Pisces 30 degrees, the last degree of the zodiac. Astrologically, this anaretic placement of Mars highlights your role as a compassionate leader. Mars' assertive energy merges with Pisces intuition, driving you to champion humanitarian causes. At this critical degree, your actions carry the potential for profound impact, blending personal ambition with universal service. Yet this powerful placement also brings significant challenges that must be consciously addressed. Key insights: spiritual leadership. Your strength lies in acting with empathy and advocating unity, healing, and peace. Intuitive drive. Guided by visions of a better world, your motivation is deeply tied to spiritual purpose. Challenges to overcome. Grounding your ideals in practical action will amplify your effectiveness, but you must navigate the inherent complexities of this placement. The shadow issues, escapism, the vast boundless energy of Pisces can make it tempting to avoid difficult realities. This might manifest as procrastination or reliance on distractions. Over-idealism, the desire to act for the greater good, can lead to impractical solutions or unrealistic expectations. Boundary challenges. A tendency to sacrifice personal well-being for others may leave you drained and vulnerable. Conflict avoidance. Preferring peace, you might sidestep necessary confrontations, which can lead to unresolved tensions. So there's a poem. Do you want to read that one, Brenda?
Did you read the guidance?
I haven't read it.
Okay. Because it's first, you want to read that before the poem? At least on my screen it is.
Yeah. Can
Okay.
you see the guidance?
I'm missing part of the guidance. I
Okay,
can
I'll read
all
it.
of the poem though.
Guidance. Your Mars placement invites you to embrace the role of a visionary leader. Be courageous in bringing your intuitive insights into practical, actionable policies. Trust your inner compass, but stay mindful of the need to balance idealism with realism. Seek collaborators who can help translate your vision into tangible outcomes.
A poem for you. At Pisces' edge, where Mars burns bright, your actions flow with compassionate light. Lead with your heart, but ground your ideal, for the world needs your courage, your vision. As Neptune graces this fateful degree, it calls you to act with wisdom and see that through the fog a path will appear to guide the world with strength and clear cheer. But beware the shadows that Pisces may hide, escapist currents or boundaries untied. Stay true to your purpose, let wisdom ignite, and the world will be blessed by your luminous light. Your natal Mars at this pivotal degree is both a gift and a responsibility. Use its energy wisely, and you will leave a legacy of inspiration and transformation.
There, he's got the message.
Right on.
Send.
So it's in the ethers, and so Dwayne, when you put this out, who has access to, or like, where all did you send it?
Well, the primary posting would be my channel on X, alias Twitter.
Oh, okay. On Twitter. Okay.
Yeah.
Ah,
Um, but it's
no.
also on the Lightning Path website under
Yeah,
my dialogues with
right. Yeah.
chat. And
I guess you could mail a hard copy to Parliament or to his residence.
yeah, that's true. Yeah, there's lots could be
Mhm.
done. Need a few more hours in a day for myself.
Yeah.
So on Twitter, do you like hashtag?
Yep. Yeah,
Yeah,
I did. I hashtagged each one of them by name.
right.
And
Okay.
so there's a good chance that
Oh,
Mhm.
good.
it hit the office anyway, maybe.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And
Mhm.
also just getting it out there that it's possible for us now with this communications technology.
Hmm.
Step right up and send something directly to that person,
Mhm.
in a big open sharing. So I think we're going to see more of that as people
Mhm.
realize the power of the tools that we have at our disposal.
Mhm.
And
Hmm.
hopefully we can keep the channel open for free expression.
Yeah.
I'm hopeful.
Mhm. Yes.
So Vesta, we were talking Vesta, and here
Hmm.
Trump has Vesta anaretic, 30 degrees Pisces. Vesta keynotes. I'll just run through the ones in red here that I can read.
Okay.
Focus and devotion, integrity, discipline, sacred space, service, autonomy, healing, spiritual fire, perfection. Okay, now into the shadow, perfectionism, and sacrifice. So these are all, I mean, witnessing Trump's life from afar, of course, but during this last few years, what that man went through on a personal level, right up to getting shot in the ear. And he's still standing and still holding the flame. I mean, that's the way I see him. Um, Incredible. But that's what, that kind of intensity is what is associated with an anoretic uh, degree. Would either of you like to read this, Dear President Trump?
I can't see that part.
Okay. Steve, here's your chance.
That's okay. You can continue if you like.
I can't see the text here unless my cursor has disappeared, so I don't have control over what's, you know,
Where I can start seeing is the second paragraph in your sacred task.
yeah, that's where I'm at too.
Okay, well, I can read the first part.
Okay, great.
President Trump, with an asteroid Vesta positioned at 29 degree Pisces in your natal chart, carry an extraordinary spiritual calling. The placement is a celestial mandate asking you to devote your life to causes that transcend the personal and embrace the universal. It is both a rare privilege and a profound responsibility, placing you at the confluence of endings and beginnings, the threshold of transformational change.
Mm, right on.
So I need you to continue with the next first chapter, first paragraph, and then I can read after that if you like.
You don't see your sacred task?
No, that first paragraph is cut off for
Hmm,
me with with your with your picture,
interesting.
with your screen.
Your sacred task. At the anaretic degree, Vesta becomes a guiding flame of focused purpose. It speaks to a life dedicated to service, where your leadership is not merely about governance, but about shepherding humanity toward a shared vision of unity, healing, and compassion. This placement highlight your ability to inspire others to rise above division and act for the collective good.
You are uniquely equipped to see the deeper spiritual threads weaving through humanity's challenges. This capacity to perceive the unseen makes you not just a leader of people, but a guide for souls. Trust in your vision, for it holds the power to bring light to the darkest moments. Challenges and shadows. This path is not without its shadows. The Pisces energy in its lower expression may tempt you to over-sacrifice, to blur boundaries in ways that leave you drained, or to retreat into idealistic illusions when the weight of responsibility feels too much. Be mindful of these tendencies. Your sacred fire must be nurtured, not extinguished by the burdens of your role. In moments of doubt, remember that your service is not about solving every problem alone, but about empowering others to carry forward the ideals you hold dear. You are not merely a savior, you are a catalyst.
Yeah, I hope he reads that.
Mhm.
Well, Steve, with your son there at that 30th degree, I think we look to you to read this one.
Okay. The Neptune transit, a spiritual gateway. Mm-hmm. I have to lean in because it's a little small print.
Oh, right on.
Neptune currently transiting over your natal Vesta heralds a period of profound spiritual activation. This is a moment to refine your purpose, embrace clarity, and align fully with the values of compassion and universal love. It is also a time when the world looks to you for inspiration. Your words and actions during this transit hold transformative power, capable of reshaping the collective consciousness. Be aware that Neptune's influence can blur distinctions between truth and illusion. Stay anchored in your highest values and seek advisors who mirror your integrity. Use this time to clarify your legacy, what you wish to leave behind for humanity's spiritual evolution. Guidance for your leadership. Balance vision with action. Transform your spiritual ideals into pragmatic steps that others can follow. Embrace transparency. Communicate your vision clearly and openly to build trust and collective focus. Guard your inner flame. Protect your energy and well-being so that your sacred purpose remains strong. Serve as a healer. Use your leadership to mend divides, foster reconciliation, and remind the world of its interconnectedness. You can inspire humanity to reach beyond its current limitations and dream of a better future. May your flame burn ever bright, and may your actions leave a legacy of hope, love, and transformation. The world looks to you now not just for leadership, but for inspiration. Trust in your path, for it is divinely guided.
Thank you. Thank you both for the readings. That's really helpful.
Mm.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, it's very fascinating.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a kind of a trippy encounter we had there.
Yeah,
I like it. Mhm.
wow, it's a in reading it, I see the potential,
Yes.
but I also feel they really have to make a 180-degree turn on on what's being read and what I'm observing. Very fascinating.
Say more.
Well, I just feel there's the compassion, and I certainly don't get it from really either of them when I see them or observe them. So I'm just, if they could read it, and I'm just having difficulty envisioning in Pisces them reading it.
Hmm.
I guess that's what I'm feeling. It just would get ignored like so many things are ignored in their quest for power. What's being displayed power over, and all those dysfunctional acts and words and things. It's like they don't seem to be suffering by it, but the people, the earth and the people are feeling that vibration that they're putting out there now. And it's, yeah, it's just, to think of it, it just saddens me when I see what potential is possible. So, I find for me, when I see my shadow of too much media, I go, okay, so I've expressed that, that's fine. I am accepting it where it is. May not be my preference, but that's the reality. And I need to focus my Piscean thoughts and ideas into this Aries and Neptune in acts of love and kindness, and regardless of what they're doing. So I, in essence, don't want to get hooked in their madness that they're creating. They're creating a lot of madness and playing with with different forms of weaponry than the weaponry, the tools that could be used to make the world a better place. So those are my feelings on that. And in the words of Sophia, that's the end of my presentation.
Well, thanks for sharing.
Yeah.
I have a deep wish, prayer, or not sure how to word it, that those in the spiritual realm are working their magic, and that all the threads are being woven in the way they need to be woven to make positive change in the end, ultimately.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I see it had to come to the surface. That's for sure. It's definitely doing that. So it is surfacing. And
When you say it, I'm not sure what you're.
just these, it's like a wound. It's like the pus coming out is what I see. In all the rhetoric is the the hateful rhetoric towards others. It's just like
Well, now you
it's
mentioned that before, and I just
it's always been
mystified.
there. It's always been there. I've witnessed it as um, growing up in the younger years in the States. I've seen it. It's there. There's the hatred towards others, where we're all people, we're all humans, but there's this underlying hatred and division that's been there for millenniums, and it's just surfacing now, where it was kind of a hidden agenda before. And yeah, there's a meanness, and it's just um,
I just don't get that.
I don't get it.
I don't get
Wow,
that with well,
very
certainly with
fascinating.
Trump. I see Trump as a big, friendly character whose sincerest desire is to bring peace. Like he is really going to be devoting his life force to that, as far as I can see. And I
Well,
think he's got a lot.
maybe that's him
Landslide.
personally.
How do you
That's
explain
him.
a landslide victory like he had?
Well, I don't think it was a landslide victory. You look at it that way, but the way it's set up, it's still 50% of the people don't agree with what he has to say. And supposedly in a democracy, you're not just supposed to say, okay, now we won, so we are in control. You're supposed to take care of the other 50%
Right?
as well. That's the ideal. But that's not how it is. It's like now we have the power. So now we're going to take it the way we're going to take it. And yeah, they got the tech bros and those people on their side this time to swing it. And they have the fundamentalist Christian bloc. And if I look, there's a lot of hatred towards different forms of humanity in there. So um, that's why I can't elevate that person to power. And as you say, maybe you're seeing something in Trump that I have a blind spot to, but I have ears and I have listening skill. And what I hear is, I certainly wouldn't want to be a lost immigrant on the planet living in America at the moment and being thrown out. It's just like those are
Boundary
things,
issue.
those are just things I don't agree with. So that's, yeah, there's, and it's also a political game. I see them, they change their tune once they have the power. So, but it, I see, which is causes the suffering, is there's a lot of greed and a lot of hatred just in his rhetoric, in his environment. Uh, you know, I just it's just not my flavor of leadership that I see that's possible. And uh, coming from the heart, I think he could use a virgin birth, actually, from what I see. So maybe I'm missing something. He's this new form of peacemaker you're talking about, but what kind of peace? He doesn't lay out a plan. He has no plan for people's health care. So I could go on and on, but I prefer not to, because it's a waste of my life.
May he be ready for a virgin birth, and may it happen.
Yeah. Yeah. That would be refreshing.
Mm-hmm.
But if I'm a psychic, I don't see it, because I see what he's surrounded with, what he's created with that party. And it's just not a party that I want to go to.
Interesting that when we look to the solar kin, with you at the end of Pisces, that's solar kin 13 Ahau, which is your universal human.
Mm-hmm.
You're at 13 Ahau. He's got a 10 Ahau. And I'm finding that an interesting research vector. And how
What do you find?
kin,
What do you find interesting about it?
well, that on another level, you two are brothers. You two are fused as spiritual beings. You both have your integrity, and it plays out in different realms. But on this level, there's this tug of war. So
Right.
it seems to me to be an opportunity to transcend that dualistic thinking in your own self.
Yeah, it would be fine
Now
if
when you get
it would be fine
the
to
brotherhood,
it would be fine to be with the brother if he was willing, but I don't sense a willingness on his part. So why would I want to waste my time? I need to find my own tribe. If I want to enjoy this preciousness of life that's been given. I mean, if that's where he wants to go ahead, but I ain't going. So yeah, there's a duality there.
Well, you're going on your own terms.
Yeah, you got that right.
Yeah. And that's sovereignty, right? And we each stand in our own sovereignty.
Exactly.
And see the world through the filters that we are heir to,
Yeah.
But it seems like the longer term journey that we're all on requires just a simple letting go of our judgments, letting go of our all kinds of things.
Yeah.
So I guess, yeah, for me, I mean,
we need to have discernment around things. Like I try and drop the judgments, but I'm also not believing in blind faith either. So I'm discerning in what I'm observing. And we have to judge whether I walk out, it's a sunny day now, I'm going out. I don't need a heavy jacket, but I need to judge the weather So it's discerning. And when I'm discerning of what I've witnessed in this lifetime, my discernment is saying that that's not a path that I want to follow. I would love it to heal, but there is duality. I mean, that's a reality. And I don't know. I guess I'm not going to abdicate my sovereignty, as you say, to
Good for you.
to follow along.
Yeah.
I just don't. I don't buy it.
Yeah. Well, I honor that.
Yeah, I've witnessed it enough to know that there's underlying forces that just come from greed and hatred, and I don't buy that.
Right on.
I have trouble even watching the news or even letting my energy go there. And not that I want to be blind to what needs to be done and I want to be used for good, but I just feel like my energy being involved there is not doing a service to anybody. It's just
Right. There's so many possibilities of service, as we talked about. How do we take this now into service in Aries? What actions and yeah, on the human scale, a new collective, a new vision, a new way of living from the heart.
being in the world, but not of the world, or
Well,
something along those lines.
yeah, I mean, we can draw on not of the world. We can draw on that, but we're in the world. I mean,
We are, absolutely.
yeah. So we need to be in it and not just not let this stop our adventure.
I think it's such a gift to be in this world and living life with a capital L, but not get caught in the dramas. Like choose a different way. Just
right. Yeah. Because there is a manipulation going on there. Keep them fed and entertained. I mean, that's an old Roman tactic, and it happens now. I look at football, for example, and the stadiums that get filled by people.
Yeah.
And the energy there and the passion there. For what? Winners and losers? Jeez. If that passion and that power was focused on making the world a better place in peace, whew, and that's just one area.
And I totally get what you're saying because I've looked at it from that perspective. But then as you break it all down and each team member, each family, that they belong, like there's so much that goes into what looks like a crazy game. I don't know. It's about people connecting with people. And I mean, I totally get what you're saying because I feel the same way, but I also at times get a glimpse into the bigger picture of what's happening. And then part of that is watching, grandkids play soccer and what all goes into that and what they're learning about themselves. And
yeah, I agree with you on that. There is a parameter to play a game.
Mm-hmm.
There's rules of the game. But that's not life. That's a game with those rules within. And I did that for years growing up with that. My emotions were tied to something that I had no control over.
Just
My team winning against, and then all my emotions would come up. And, some say that's beneficial for men, that they can go there and yell and scream. That's fine. But then they take it from there out into life with winners and losers. And I mean, I played ping pong with a guy where we had a strategy was, you show me what your best moves are and I'll show you what my best moves are. And we had the most amazing games. We were sharing that instead of, oh, I'm going to keep it secret and I'm going to use my secret weapon to win this game. But when we shared our different strategies and we improved on that, it was like, wow, these games are amazing. And it elevated it. It was so much more fun. But the problem is they're taking the game and they bring it into life. And
I've never thought of myself as a competitive person, but I'm thinking of Florence Scovel Shinn wrote a book in 1928, The Game of Life and How to Play It, which I think is a good one. And all of a sudden the sitcom, or anyway, the series Ted Lasso, all based on soccer, football, and all the spiritual lessons that are coming out of it, going out to humanity who may not find it in another way, are finding it through that.
yeah,
Yeah. So,
yeah, I see that's a possible doorway for people because it does exist. I'm just looking at the overview of how much energy is spent, how much money is spent.
Yeah.
Whew.
I totally get it. I mean,
Where if that was focused on helping people eat to survive, I mean, that could happen like that.
from a
And
very
I see people, they do their best to do that as well. But I just see a lot of wasted energy.
Oh, I agree. And from a very young age, I always felt there was a bigger picture. I could never quite understand all the goings on, but I don't have to understand it. But at 6 years old, I was 3 weeks in isolation. And to me, that was, what do they say? Capricorns are old when they're young, young when they're old. And to me, that was a very spiritual time for me. And it took place over Easter. Yeah, I'm rambling a bit, but
No, that's interesting. You're
yeah.
saying you were in isolation for 3 weeks?
As a 6-year-old, I had spinal meningitis, and but I really see that that was a healing time for me. Even at that young age, I was aware of a bigger picture, and had trouble understanding why people were in their dramas and the fighting and the arguing, and that it didn't have to be like this.
Right.
And I think sometimes we come here and we're supposed to forget where we came from. I don't think I
Right.
forgot. And it made it extra hard to be here. But then, there's been so much growth and so many blessings, and it's a grand journey. Yeah.
Yeah, you mentioned that. I had that similar, I think it was probably around age 6. I had probably 3 weeks of isolation.
Did you? And why?
I had scarlatina.
Oh my goodness.
And so I was away from school, and then coming back again. I remember my mom bought me this kind of white club jacket. I came back in all pure white. It just
Oh,
felt odd
wow.
in going into school.
Hmm.
And I felt like I was 3 weeks behind, but I'd done the homework, so I stayed with it. But
Yes. Yeah.
I guess I felt like I missed out or something
Yes.
returning.
Yeah. So you were at home during
Yeah.
that. Yes. Yeah.
I've never heard of scarlatina. What's
A
that?
mild form of scarlet fever, apparently.
Oh, I
Hmm.
see.
My, Mine was in the hospital in isolation, so nobody could visit me. My parents could visit from outside the window.
Oh, wow. I wish Sophia was here to share with you because she had the same experience.
Hmm.
She was in the hospital, and when her mom would come to visit, when her mom would leave, Sophia just got into this loss in tears and so strong that she just cried through the night. And they finally had to tell her mother not to come visit.
Oh, yeah.
And then all of a sudden she felt abandoned because so she was dealing with some abandonment
Yes.
with that. And
Mhm.
then, yeah, then at 6 years old, her father had to leave Hungary because of the Russians.
So my mother was Hungarian. And when you talked about the war, I've wondered what you were referring to, but my father Polish, my mother Hungarian, so
Oh,
relatively
well,
very affected. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So he had to leave. And so then she lost her
Oh,
father at 6.
oh my.
He had to go to Austria.
Mm,
They tried to escape a couple of times, but they got caught in the woods.
mhm.
Then she got thrown in jail, separated from her mom
Oh my goodness.
just for a few hours, but they did that. But they'd been told, she had it grounded that no, they were just going on a hike.
Mm,
And then finally her mom gave up on, they tried about 3 times, I think.
mhm.
Her mom gave up on it. And then Sophia just, uh, at that age, since she visited her father at 15 in Vienna and said, okay, I'm getting out of here. So she studied to become a dentist. And at 25, she got on the bus. And at the border, she was the only one taken off of the bus
Oh my. And this was leaving Hungary. Yes.
to
And
go
why?
to go to Austria like on a holiday.
Yes.
But she hadn't signed something. And so they took her off the bus, but she thought she was being arrested. So
Why?
she got off the bus. She signed it, got back on the bus, and then never came back.
Oh my goodness.
But she had to go to say goodbye, like she had to say goodbye to her mom. And it was hard on her mom. But then her mom had gone to uh, a reader that read her Turkish coffee.
Mhm.
And the woman told her that she would travel across oceans.
Hmm.
And so Sophia's mom said, oh, what is she talking about? I'm here in Hungary. I'm a single mother. And
And it happened. Hmm.
Sophia paid for her mom. to come visit many times across the ocean. So the coffee reader was right. So
Wow.
there's so many beautiful things that can happen.
How
And
how did the two of you meet?
at a New Year's Eve party in personal development, and I was blowing my horn, and Sophia danced by in her wild animal shirt. And we found out we were both doing facilitator development together in February.
Mhm.
So we teamed up there,
Hmm.
and then we facilitated our own lives and together.
Beautiful.
Mhm. And there's a song that goes along with that story, if I recall.
Oh, the one?
Yeah, was that it?
Yeah,
That became your theme song.
yeah.
Yeah.
When stars collide like you and I, no shadows block the sun.
Oh, beautiful. Oh my goodness.
So I sang it to her when she passed.
Oh,
Oh, beautiful. Hmm.
Yeah, this has been quite a year, but it's my learning to be an individual again.
Mm.
And I'm so fortunate that we had that agreement,
yes.
that opportunity to share. So that's been very helpful.
Thank you for that sharing.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So you're a musician.
Uh, no, not really. Well, I am in daydreams. I mean, karaoke saved my life, but
Well, when you said you were playing the horn, or I thought you were, you were
oh,
blowing the New Year's Eve horn.
yeah, those New
Oh,
Year's Eve. Yeah,
oh, whole different picture happening.
that's what I was. Yeah, I thought
Not the trombone.
New Year's Eve might be the clue.
Because your rotary, the book that popped up was music first, and then
Yeah, right, right.
anyway, the
No,
way my brain puts things
that's a bit of an
together.
illusion.
Okay.
No, I was playing the New Year's Eve horn, and somebody got a picture of it. We laughed because she had this European fashion, and I was there in my Sears clothes, and we laughed. She helped me in the world of fashion. Though then we threw that all out the window when we moved to the island. It's like, okay. But yeah, it was fun going to Europe and the fashion
Mhm.
and the style and the food, and yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Yes, I bet. So was that Calgary you lived at?
Yeah,
Because Dwayne, I feel like from all those years ago that I met Sophia. Is
yeah,
that possible in the
Oh,
early?
absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
yeah. You may have.
That
Yeah.
new moon.
And were you together already at that point? In the early
Uh,
90s or
yeah,
pardon?
the '90s.
Okay. You have me needing to blow my nose and wipe my tears. So,
That's good.
yes.
That's what grief is all about.
Yes. Yeah.
I've learned to speak through the grief,
Mhm.
uh, because grief isn't sadness. Grief is love.
Yes.
So it's a positive emotion. So deep grief is deep love.
Mm.
Oh my God, I was made with an excess of it, I think.
Yeah. So it's wonderful to grieve together.
Thank you,
Yeah.
both of you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you for showing up.
Been very rich.
Hmm.
This little triangle.
Yeah. Yeah. We got the triad.
Yeah.
Yes.
Keep things moving.
Mhm.
Yep. And Dwayne and Sophia's shirt.
Yeah, I love this shirt.
Great.
And I do. I think of her every time I put it on,
Yeah.
connection.
Mm.
Right during and after her passing, I mean, I was journeying with her into places that were like it was real, you know, like I was opening to new vistas. And right at the same time, we had this incredible download of aurora borealis.
Yeah. Right.
It's all part of the experience I was having. It was like part of me thought, wow, she picked a great time to be swirling out into the cosmos. That's the way it came across for me. But
Yeah. Yeah. I had that with the 5 element uh, spreading of the ashes. And I'm
yeah,
going, what am I going to do for metal? And then that aurora showed up. I go, oh, it's going to be a nighttime spreading of the ashes for metal. And yeah, it just showed up. I didn't have to figure it out.
right. Just pay attention.
Yeah, pay attention. Metal showed up.
Mm.
That's so great.
That was magical. But yeah, this year the tributes that you put on and the honoring. Oh,
Mm.
that was really beautiful.
She contributed so much to what we were doing here. She was. I always felt that with her. She was really holding the light.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I have yet to watch them, but I will watch them.
Mm.
Seen them, but I've not watched.
yeah. I went back and watched, and
Mhm.
I really value that that's available. I mean, it's uh, just to be able to tap into her enthusiasm,
Yeah. Yeah.
enthusiasm for life. And I think I can take that with me with the Aries. Yeah, that's the thing. I have that in that relationship, so I can draw on it at any time.
Mm.
And that's what I take forward with me.
Right on.
But yeah, it's been quite a year, and I'm honoring my practitioners. I got a great acupuncturist, and I got a great chiropractor that's I'm I'm taller than I thought I was.
You're not shrinking like the rest of us?
No, I'm learning to stand taller. I thought I was an illusion. I thought I was tall. But wow, I was carrying 50 pounds of head instead of 14.
Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but it was all from trauma, injury, early on injury, and protecting myself.
Yeah.
So now that's opened up.
Wow. Good one.
Yeah. So it's opening up the heart. And so, um, yeah, yeah. My wish is for more people, whether they find it through sports or whether they find it through politics, wherever they find it, that they have their virgin birth through the heart and
Yeah.
just be kind to one another.
Mhm.
Right on.
And that's what I see because yeah, we see the madness and the silliness and the trolling and all that BS, but I think we need to have a bigger vision than that beyond,
Mhm.
Mm.
and that's what connecting to the Hunab coup is about, I think.
None of it makes sense for me if we didn't have a bigger vision.
Right. Yeah. And I think it's happening. I may be an illusion that it doesn't look like it's happening, but it's happening.
I believe it is.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right on.
And Dwayne, when everything gets out that you've been working on all these years, it's going to help it happen even more so,
Thank you.
Yeah.
I believe.
I received that blessing.
Hmm.
Yeah. I'm just so grateful for all the contributors to this little venture we call the Lightning Path. It's been
Hmm.
there's been a lot of lonely time,
I-
in the journey, but
yeah.
I've overcome that sense of separation and just got with the program, which is like, no, this is unfolding exactly how it should, and just keep with it, one step at a time, one breath at a time.
Yeah.
That whole notion of engaged Buddhism,
Hmm.
that you kind of spoke along those lines. It's like you take it out into the world as you experience it day to day to day, and it's not like
Yeah.
there's just one place where you go and you sit. It's like it's whatever you're encountering, that's
Yeah.
where you can bring it to bear. And yeah, I really appreciate the way people like yourselves are bringing themselves forward in this context with the intimacy that we share. I think
Hmm.
it's healing. All of us are healing in some way, and
Yeah.
it's a gift.
Yeah. Yeah. I wish for people those that are grieving to grieve openly.
Mm.
It's okay. I can uh, put that out there.
Mm.
This is yeah, people don't have to, don't isolate,
Right.
but
I've been known to be very open, but I've also been known to isolate. And I thought, the grieving was done. Well, life is never done. But anyway, oh my gosh, the emotion that's there. That's
yeah, yeah, it's wonderful. It's just, wow, that's really a vibration of life. That's a vibration of love for sure.
And I think that the bronchitis that I've been dealing with in the last couple of weeks, I mean, some of it's environmental and all of that. But I also believe there's been emotion there that's needed to.
Yeah, just let it come out.
Thank you, boys, for this safe
Wow.
and sacred space.
Our pleasure, I'm sure.
Yep,
Yeah, it's been great, guys. And there we are. We're right on
Wow.
time. So
Wow. Yeah, thank you for all the sharing.
very rich. Yeah.
Hmm.
Okay.
Bottom of my
Full
heart.
moon, full moon in the Temple of Eagles.
Yeah.
Yeah. As we,
Onward and upward.
yeah, we're flying into the star harmony coming up.
Right on. Well said. Okay, guys.
Okay.
Take care.
Thank you
Love
both.
you.
Yeah, love you guys.
Love you
Bye-bye.
too. Bye.
Bye.